Hi everyone, and welcome to Being Youthful. I am Kim Beegler, the owner of Ewethful Fiber Mill, and I am sitting here in Halsey, Oregon, inside the mill, coming to you to talk about wool, all of the wool and knitting and all those good things. So welcome. If you're new, thank you so much. I'm so glad you found me. And if you are coming back, thank you for coming back. This episode, it's a little off the cuff because I just didn't have as much time. Okay, I'll admit I had the time. I just didn't feel like getting notes together. So it's all just in my head, and I'm going to put it all out here for you in whatever order it comes out, and we'll go from there. So welcome. In this episode, I have got a finished item. I've got some mill videos and some fiber that is still available in the online shop. There's a little bit left. And some other fun new things that have come into the mill. So let's get started. And for everybody who's a wish lover, here she is. Here she is. Oh, and I have a little video from Mill Day. We had our last Mill Day was this past Saturday. There are 2 more coming up for this year. I think it's December 9th and 16th, those Saturdays, 10 to 3. If you're in the area, come on by. You'll see in the video that you will not be alone. There will be lots of smiles and cheers. We had so much food. So much good energy. It was Small Business Saturday, and I just was full. I was full from all the amazing people that came. And there's always room for more. I think I might have to add another table soon. Not a big problem. So, okay, things that are, what should we start with? Let's start with a finished object, because that's always fun, right? Wish is on my lap as always. So here is our finished object. It's always just, if you need to have a win, I'm serious, just knit some mittens, because look at it. Okay, so let's talk about these. These are the World's Simplest Mittens by Tin Can Knits. Here we are. I use Sistar yarn, which I'll show you. We got a new color in and a restock on some other colors. So it's been going fast. I am so happy. I used the medium gray. Nigel's here and he's zipping around. Nigel, don't go up there. I use the medium gray. There's a dark gray and then there's the natural white, but I use that. I love how they turned out. So you can see, I don't think you can tell necessarily that I knit the body differently. I used magic loop with this one. I used double points with this one. They turned out pretty similar. Honestly, my double points, actually, now that I look at it, my double points are a little bit cleaner, would I say? I'd say they're a little cleaner. And I blocked them together. Yeah, they might be a little cleaner, you all. There might be a difference. The cuffs I did do different because I did this one. I did continental, so I was throwing left-handed. Nope. Yeah, you can see this is a little bit, it has that little bit more tightness to it. This I did right-handed, which I am generally a tighter knitter. So I actually like a little more body here, as they may say. So those are done. 1 skein is all it takes. I think I'm not sure if I did the smaller medium, but I had plenty of yarn left over and I love them. I love them. And I think lots of people are knitting mittens. It's, this is blocked now and I think it's a next to skin wool for sure. New colors in the online shop. This is the woodland brown. It disappeared really quickly last time. So I got plenty restocked. And this is a new color. This is the springtime violet. Woohoo! If you are a purple, that is a great color. So restock, everything should be in stock at this point in the Sistar yarn, and it's so affordable. And it is Virginia wool milled. Okay, so there's our finished object. I am still cruising on my faucet. I am done with the body. I just have to do basically the bottom band and the sleeve bands, and then I'm done. So probably not next week, but I'll show you progress on it next week for sure. And I have to find a new cast on. If anybody else is obsessed with the Lulu slip over that Petite Knits just came out with, comment below because I am obsessed with that. It was like I don't often like gasp of a pattern, but if I can grab a picture of it here, I will. Otherwise, just go find Petite Knits on Ravelry and find her Lulu slip over. I'm obsessed with it. So I'm trying to figure out if I'm gonna hand spin for it or if I'm gonna use one of the yarns that I have here in the mill, and we'll see. Okay, there are some mill videos, so I'll show those in a minute, but I wanted to show you, not in the mill video, what the product is. So one of them is Andy. My lighting's not the best, Joel. It's the Pacific Northwest in the winter. Andy is like a really light. He's gotten lighter. He's a very light oatmeal color. He's a fawn, but he's gotten lighter as he's aged, as Shetlands tend to do. So he's a really light fawn. There's little brown hairs throughout, definitely darker than a white. Andy puts out some stunning wool every single year. He generally spins up next to Skin Soft, and there are maybe 3 or 4 bumps in here. So if you like Andy, or if you haven't spun Andy, sorry, 100% Shetland. This is from one of our weathered sheep. Actually, my biggest punk, but weathered sheep. He thinks he has to keep an eye on everything. So there's Andy. There's another Shetland, and I have video on this too. This is one of my favorite blends. I am biased 100%, but here it is, and you can see that beautiful halo to this fiber. So this is one of our weathers, Roland. So he is a very light gray, and Cuddlebug, the Pygora goat. So I think it's about 80-20 Shetland Pygora, somewhere in there. Do you see how beautiful that halo is? I just can't stop. So this would be stunning, spun up, and there is some of this left, you all. There's like 8 to 12 ounces, something like that. I'm gonna make sure I know before this goes out. This would be really lovely spun up into a lace weight. The Pygora adds a luster to it. It adds this beautiful drape. It adds softness. It would spin up, and it's gonna want to spin a little bit finer naturally just because of that Angora to it. Not Angora, what am I saying? That Pygora to it. I have also spun it up into like a 2-ply DK-ish worsted weight, and I knit a sweater, like a very big drapey, I should be wearing it right now, but I forgot, sweater. And it's gorgeous. Like there's just this color that you can't, like the color and the halo, the shine is really, really beautiful. So there is some of that, and I've got videos showing me milling both of those up. I think I have another video of Johnny Rose. I'll probably throw it in there. We'll see. He's an Andy mini-me, but he is younger, and his fleece is still quite a bit darker than Andy's. So, but his fleece disappeared. It was his yearling fleece, and it went very quickly. There was not much of it. I think I ended up with like 1.5 pounds once it got carded. So anyway, beautiful. So if you like any of those fibers, go jump. I do still have a little bit of our Shetland natural white left, a little bit. So if you're looking for Shetland, they are really lovely fibers. I have a couple other new things to show you that are just in the mill shop that will be in the online shop before this episode goes out. So I got these really fun. I was very excited for the crafters in your life, or for you, the crafter who just can't stop crafting. We got these really cute basket kits in. So this one is the Calliope basket kit. I believe it will make 2. And there's different colors. All that's in the online shop. But this is like for beginners. It comes with everything you need. It comes with the material, clippers, the darning needle. It has what you need in it, right? And then there's another one. These ones are smaller. This is in this little stone color. But these cute little. So I just thought these were fun. Either as gifts for those of us that know makers that can't stop making, or for those of us that just can't stop making new things. They're in the online shop. And I also got, oh yeah, these just came in. I'm so excited. They're these gorgeous little project bags. And I would say it's not gonna fit quite a sweater, but it'll fit shawls, cowls, socks, mittens, all the things. And what I love, besides this beautiful, and that's made in the USA, which I think you all know I love, this beautiful strap to it, is that the inside of it has a drawstring, which I love, especially for those of us with animals, that you could have a project bag you can work out of, and then you can make it safe and hang it somewhere, or leave it on the floor, or do all the things we tend to do, and then your cats walk by. and think it's fun. Tabitha is obsessed with some of my fibers lately. If I open up something and it's like fiber wrapped up, she just jumps right in there. So anyway, this is great for hiding away fiber, and it's just beautiful. Made in the USA. They'll be in the online shop. So I'm having fun bringing in some of these beautiful products and making them more available to you all. So that is what is going on. I just don't have a lot. We've had a lot going on. I'll share more next week. The spinner moved this week, and I just am like, I've had my head in so many places with business and personal life and all the things that I'm just going to keep this one short. But next week I do have some videos of me finishing up on the spinner. For those of you that are new or missed where I was talking about it, I've decided a couple months ago to sell the spinner, actually in early summer. And it's been months of up and down and all the things, but it did finally leave the building on Monday, and my anxiety level has finally settled a little bit. And I'm just trying to let myself sit with that for a couple days. So next week, I'll show you some videos on that and talk a little bit more about that experience. And Nigel, our poor dog, he's getting surgery in a couple weeks. It's just all over the place. So I'm trying to just like take a few days to just mellow out. But I wanted to pop in and share with you all because I've been making some pretty things. I do have a video also on some cotton wool that I am spinning. So I'm taking the best of both worlds here, and I'm showing you, it actually has a great trick in it. Not a trick, but just kind of a tip. I was going to show you one more thing that I'm working on making. Hold on just a sec. Okay, I wanted to share this with you because I'm crazy. We all know that. Us fiber people, we just don't stop, right? So this is my current, one of the things I've got going on, and I don't know if it's going to show, but it's got some dyed up mohair in it. So this is, I went to a craft show last week, 2 weeks ago maybe, and somebody was selling fiber. So what did I do? I just bought some fiber, you guys. I don't know why I do it. Like as if I don't have enough, but let me see if I can show you. Yes, there you can get the color that's in there. So that is, you can see that shine, that is some dyed up mohair. This is Shetland, alpaca, and mohair. And it was sold in these little balls like this. It was just, this woman that had different stuff, and she had this little cubby that had fiber in it. And I was like, okay, I like to throw down for my small businesses. So she had it just kind of balled up like this. And I was like, what the heck? What is this? So I just thought I would show you what is going on here. So if you buy something like that, it's always kind of like, I didn't even look at it. It was just like, oh, it's pretty. I think it'll be fun to spin up on my drop spindle. And she was just, she had her spinning wheel there, which I love. So I undid it and I was like, it's just like this big, thick, but guess what? It is actually, it's basically a bat. So as I open it up, there is a rhyme. She just has it kind of folded in on itself, because I was like, how in the world did she process this at home? I didn't really know what was going on. So you can see that I'm just like, I know it's hard to see because it's a dark fiber on dark fiber, but it just kind of rolls out widthwise and it's a bat. And there is some like the Shetland you can see is like very black and gray, and then there's this dyed mohair in here, and there's, I believe, some alpaca too. There's a big chunk. So it's not the most even spin, but it's just something fun. I'm working on my drop spindle here. This is the drop spindle, why I'm forgetting her name at the moment. She is from Canada, I believe, and this has the bobbin that comes off. So you can just like take a bobbin off, put a new bobbin on, and it's super easy to apply on your Lazy Kate if you have a Lazy Kate already. So I'm having fun with this. I don't know why, I've just been really into this, and I'll show you the other video. Anyway, and so for those of you that don't know, what I am doing now that I've got it all opened up and I have a grasp on what's going on with it is I'm just going through and I'm pulling pretty small strips because this is carded on somebody's, I'm assuming she did this on a drum carder at home. And so it's not super consistent and it's not like the smoothest spin. So I'm taking off very small strips just to make it easier to spin. So I'm not having to fight with it. So I'm just stripping off. Doesn't have to be even unless you want it to be, but I'm just stripping off the tiniest bit. And then I've got this tiny little, and you can see, like I can see through it now, so it's less daunting, and it's just a little bit easier to maneuver the fibers. And I know I'm not gonna get a perfect spin out of it, but I'm having a lot of fun with it. And so there's me going to a craft show and buying more fiber, but I was determined to actually start with it as opposed to all the other fibers that are sitting on a shelf. So anyway, that's something fun that I have been doing and really enjoying drop spindle, really enjoying it. It's going backwards a little bit for me, but okay. So I'm going to cut to some videos. I have a quick video, 1 or 2 quick videos from the farm. We have all of our hens are molting currently, so they are losing their feathers so that they can regenerate and have new beautiful feathers, which means a lot of naked chickens, and right now, very cold chickens. And they look very funny. But I got a video of one that was willing to, she was kind of hunkered in because they, you know, are trying to stay warm. It's very cold. But this happens in theory once a year. Not all my chickens molt every single year, but this year was a heavy, like there's just feathers everywhere around the farm. And these chickens are so tiny, a lot of them. And when they don't have their feathers, they're like super tiny. So anyway, I took a video of her and just kind of showed you what a molting chicken looks like. And because they are going through this is a big process for their body to go through, they cease laying eggs. Most natural free-range chickens will stop laying eggs during the winter anyway, and it has to do with sunlight. I never knew this before. Ooh, that reminds me, I had a viewer question. So why would you, right? We go to the store to buy eggs, but chickens naturally lay eggs dependent on the amount of light in the day. So when the days get shorter, they cease laying eggs, and it just gives their body a chance to recoup. And then on top of it, if they're molting, they're putting a lot of energy into losing those feathers and building in new feathers. So, very interesting. So right now where we have 30 plus chickens, maybe a lot of them are retired and not laying very much anymore. We're getting maybe 2 eggs a day. Whereas during the summer, we were getting at least a dozen a day. So that's where we're at. Somebody asked, how do I know if the eggs are fertilized? Because I showed our little new rooster. We also have another big full-size rooster, Big Roo, Little Roo. And how do I know if our eggs are fertilized or not, as far as eating them? So again, I never knew this until I had chickens and then a rooster. So we just, basically you assume when you have a rooster that all your eggs are fertilized, but it doesn't matter if they're fertilized. You can eat fertilized eggs because it just means that all the action came together, but it doesn't mean that the action is actually growing. How's that? The eggs need to actually stay incubated. So that's, you know, when a hen sits on them, she is doing the job of keeping them warm. They need to be super, super warm. So if a hen's not sitting on them, no incubation can happen. No chick starts to grow. So while all of the eggs on our farm could be considered in theory, if our 2 roosters were doing all their jobs with all the hens, which they're probably not, all the eggs could be fertilized. We still eat them. You eat them all. If we find an egg that we're not sure how long it's been there, like they have spots, we don't. We'll cook them up and let the eggs, you know, or let the pigs eat them or whatever. The chickens will eat their own eggs, but we cook them if we're going to feed them eggs because we don't want them to know that they can eat their own eggs. Which is another weird chicken thing. Anyway, so basically all the eggs on our farm are probably fertilized, but because they're not being incubated, nothing ever happens. Nothing ever comes of them. And if we find eggs that have been sitting for a while, we do not eat them. And if we find eggs that have been under a hen for a while that we didn't know about, we do not eat them because we assume that the process of a chick has started in there, and that is not something you want to find. So we take precautions, especially because we sell our eggs. I don't want to shock anybody by getting an egg that did start to produce. So anyway, some chicken facts that are, you know, not really known unless you have chickens, right? So, okay, cut to that. I've got a quick video from Mill Day just showing you the awesomeness of the energy and the wonderful people here. I do have this also in my online communities. I have my Zoom from my fiber club, which is full currently, but if you want to get on the waiting list, just email me. And my Patreon community. There's just a lot of awesome people. So if you're looking for a good community, but you're not around, there's a way to find us. And I've got some mail videos. So I think that's all the videos I have. If I'll throw in anything else. Okay, I've been talking long enough, so I'm gonna go let you guys watch some processing and all the other things, and I will be back in a minute with this little stinker who's keeping me warm to say goodbye. Okay. All right, you all, so I'm coming into view in a moment, I promise. I'm just getting something ready here. So we are starting at the end of the carder with Andy. Hopefully there will be some left when this goes, but if not, it's always still fun, right, to see everything work. So that, I just got the bump insert ready to go, and I've got Andy here, so I'm gonna come around the other back, I'm gonna come around the other side, and I've got to get it going for just a sec, because I need it long enough so it reaches up and will attach into where it's going to roll onto, basically. So let it have a little, this is not my angle for working, you all, so it may not be as graceful as I usually am. You can see I am loaded up in clothing today because the temperature has changed, and I got in late today and it is chilly. All right, we'll start back here and then we'll go to the other side. How's that? Really live wild. So there's Andy. He is a fawn, a very, very light fawn colored. We'll go over to the other side. So he's the same coloring as Johnny Rose that we just saw, but he is a little older, so he has faded out some over the years. So he's still absolutely gorgeous, and next to Skin Soft, he's got a really like a creamy color with gray fibers and some little brown bits throughout, just like Johnny does. Like I said, he's just a little bit older, but it still is really beautiful. I'm gonna take you all off here so you can see. It's still really beautiful, and I'm excited to get, you can see, some little chunks in there, brown. I'm excited to get Shetland on the carder always. It always takes me forever. There it is. Oop, I went too far. Okay, last batch of Shetland for this round. And this one, thank you to Jessica. I'm gonna show you here. So I have got Cuddlebug, our Pygora goat, and the fleece is from Roland, one of our Shetland wethers. And he's got a lovely, he's got a really light fleece with a lot of gray in it. So it's gonna kind of be a light heathered gray yarn. Cuddlebug is this beautiful silvery fiber. This has all been, his fiber has been de-haired for the most part. There's always going to be a little bit of guard hair in there, but it's this big beautiful fluffy cloud that I got back because I actually sent that to another mill to get done because that's a special machine that I no longer have. So I am just layering Cuddlebug on the feed of the picker first, and then I layer on top of it the Shetland for the same reason. I think recently I did a mohair, and it's the same reason. I just put some of the fibers that could potentially get stuck to the rollers inside the picker. I put those on the bottom. If I was doing alpaca, it would be on the bottom underneath wool. And the picker, for those of you that haven't watched before or are like, what is that? The picker literally opens up the fibers, opens up the locks, and it also will do this blending. Because I'm putting the Pygora on at the same time as the Shetland, it's gonna just naturally blend it as everything goes through. And it's this big set of teeth that literally just open the fiber up. The teeth are on a roller, and it opens the fiber up and makes it easier. Basically, it's gonna make the carding easier for the carding machine. Carding easier for the carding machine. So I'm just gonna keep on trucking, and you can see there's a lot of different grays in Roland's fleece. This is his yearling fleece. And this came off of him in spring. These are all spring fleeces that now in December I'm finally getting to. I kind of dole them out in just as I can, kind of squeeze them in between other things. But before we know it, I'll be shearing again, so it's time to get caught up on all of this. This is going to be next to Skin Soft. The Pygora is going to lend a halo, and it adds a little bit of extra soft to what I would say is an already soft Shetland fleece. So, and it's going to be different lengths. Roland is a different length, kind of a Shetland. I wouldn't say he's true double coated, but he leans more in that way, I would say. Okay, let me take you all off the pod here, and we'll go see it as it's coming out. So it feeds on, goes through a series of teeth, and then it comes out the other end and blows out, and it's all nice and blended up. And I can see a bit of a halo. I mean, Roland actually does have, for a Shetland, he's got a nice bit of luster, but that Pygora is just gonna add even more luster, and you can see it trying to sneak out the top. So I'm gonna block that so that doesn't happen. Okay, onward to the carder. Okay, apologies again because I still don't have my microphone. It's the same day. But I am putting on the carder here, the Pygora Shetland, and it's carding up absolutely beautifully. I ended up, even though the humidity is really good in the building, I ended up doing a little conditioning on this anyway, and I'm glad I did, because the Pygora tends to static up even more than a lot of wool will. So I wanted to just hedge my bets with this, and it is carding, I think, beautifully, so I'm glad that I did. And it's not quite as humid as it has been. We've had a few dry days. So here we are. And I will turn this on. I've already carded about half of it, and I'm so happy with it. And Jessica, again, thank you for letting me think of this, because I would have just carded up Roland, not thought to do a Pygora batch. So let's go ahead and get this sucker going, and you can see, I'm going to take you off the tripod, sorry for the, and you can see how beautiful it's turning out. Ooh la la. That is some lovely stuff, and it has a gorgeous shine to it from Cuddlebug doing his job well. Scan in a little bit for you. All right, there is about a little over 2 pounds that I'm parting up right now. I thought there was going to be more, but I think it's about 2.5 pounds. So hopefully there will be some left by the time this weight makes its way onto YouTube. Okay, so I wanted to show you this tip because this fiber is really good at demonstrating it. This is a wool cotton that I got. It's roving, and it is straight out of the box. So they pulled it from off of the machine, and they just put it in the box, and this beautiful, and it looks so beautiful. The first thing, because this is a cotton, it's definitely a little different to spin, but the first thing I do when I pull it out, because it's a little bit compacted, is give it a good shake, and that just kind of is opening up the roving a little bit more because it's pretty compacted from being in this box. So one other thing you'll notice, and I'm hoping, might have to go down, I think you'll be able to see. So as I pull this out, and you can see I'm just pulling, you see how it coils? It's kind of coiling on itself, and it'll wrap up. And what I mean by coiling is it's coming out of the box with a little bit of a twist to it. And what happens is that that twist builds up behind your hand as you are spinning. And I've tried to get a lot of it out as I'm spinning, but what will happen is there's coil building up back here. Let me put my hands right here. There is some coiling building up back here, and I'm trying to only let the twist in front of my hands, right? So if I've got twist building up back here, it's going to start to make yarn basically, and it's going to make it harder for me to draft. So this is with a lot of rovings because they come off the machine with a bit of a false twist. And that's how you keep the fibers together. That's how the machine keeps the fibers together. So what I will do is one of two things. A lot of times I'll go through and straighten a big chunk out like this and kind of give some twist to it so that the twist works its way down. Now what happens is eventually that twist is working its way all the way back down, and you're going to have this big twisted mess. So the other thing to do is when you get to a point where it's like there's too many twists in this fiber, break the fiber, straighten, you know, I'll break it, and then I'll take a bunch out and start to work that twist out again this way. So I've got a long stretch I can spin without the twist that's already in the fiber affecting my spinning. So anyway, I thought that would help. It's really hard to show it, and if you're new to spinning, you may not realize that there's twists building up behind your hand just naturally from the fiber. Okay, I'm gonna spin a little bit of this for you all. Okay, so this is, I don't know what the percentage is of wool to cotton, but I can feel a fair amount of cotton in here, and there's lots of little bits of cotton debris. And it spins as a wool and cotton would. It's a little bit of both. I don't have to put as high of a twist in. With just pure cotton, you need a high twist going in very quickly because those fibers are so short. With this fiber, I don't need, and I was trying not to spin as thin of a yarn. So I kind of have it on all my middle settings on my wheel, but you can kind of get a little pull out of it backwards more than you would. Like if I put a pinch in my hand, I can do a good draft backwards more than I would say is normal with wool. And this is from Mendo wool. I do have to be careful. I mean, it still needs a good amount of twist, but maybe not as much. And I can already feel some of that little twist happening behind my hand. So sometimes I do a little, I'll finagle the yarn so that the twist moves its way back down. And let me see if I can, I'm gonna lower because you can see pretty well. That twist that I'm talking about here. So you can see right here. See how this is twisting. Let's go in. It's hard to tell on the white maybe, but it's got a couple of twists in the fiber, and that's going to turn into yarn. I mean, look, if I start to pull this, like it's got a couple twists in it. So anyway, that's kind of what I was talking about. I hope that makes sense, and if it doesn't, anyway, that's what I'm talking about with the twist. And so it's just something to watch. It happens like if you get, sometimes I'll have my roving and balls. I don't do it as much as I used to, but sometimes I will have the roving and balls, and it's still going to be in there because a little bit of false twist is added to help keep some of the fibers together as they're coming off of the carding machine. My fiber triangle does not look very pretty, you all, so ignore that. It'll come back into its own here pretty quick, but this is a lovely fiber to spin. This is, like I said, from Mendo wool. They probably, if you contacted them, have more. It just definitely is. I wouldn't say it's a great beginner fiber. It is pretty sticky because cotton kind of is naturally a sticky fiber, and you have to have your, which I'm not doing, a good. All right, sorry there, my battery. I ran out of storage, which happens when you do all these videos on your phone. Anyway, what I was trying to say was, this is a very different fiber to spin, and one of the most important things you have to do is really keep a light hand on the back, like no hand, basically. I'm kind of just holding the fiber. I think that's my door. Maybe this is why I don't film at home so much. So anyway, what I was saying, yet again, is that I have a very light hand. Like I am just holding, letting the fiber sit in my backhand and just drafting back and letting the wheel, and you'll see, oops, gets caught on everything, that cotton. That I will be trying to pull some twist from behind my hand as I go along. But just a little tip, plus also a little bit of spinning wool and cotton. A very light hand, which is why I say it's not the best for beginners, because let's face it, when you start out, letting go, it's terrifying. It can be terrifying when you're not a beginner. So, okay, I hope that helped a little bit. Take a little video.
It is. So here's a cotton plant. You really should say Soldier and Ireland. Yeah, you are a dinner. Or you just say
So her eyes match.
I know. That was
Just filming over your head, Loretta. Spinner corner.
You know, my daughter just got back from Ireland and they bicycled around on Ireland. Yeah.
I love your buttons, by the way. You notice ours.
It's too close to Christmas, Chester. She probably
Okay, since we're talking chickens, I thought I would try to get. So this is a molting hen. This one's actually molting too. You can see the top of her head and how she has that one feather sticking out. So they lose their, sorry, lost track of what I was doing there. They lose their feathers, in theory, once a year. Here's another one that is molting away, and you can see there's new baby feathers trying to come in there. If I get too close, she'll run off. But there's new feathers trying to come in there. And I think most of these girls have already, this was a really heavy molting. In theory, they do it every year, but a lot of our chickens, they won't do it every single year. But you can see, and she's got like her butt is naked. You can kind of see down there. Let me see if I can get this girl, since she's close. She's so funny with her one feather. Anyway, when they do that, they also, during the winter, they slow down, and when they're molting, they save their energy for this, so they don't lay eggs at this point. Anyway, I just wanted to show you a couple of them, and there's feathers all over the farm. Let's see if I can go the right way. You can see her a little bit better. You can see those little white spikies underneath that are kind of showing up everywhere, and that's where the feathers will pop out of. Okay. They are probably a little extra chilly right now. All right, it's pumpkin crushing day. Here's all the sheepies, very excited. You can see they've already done a number on some of it. I'll probably come out later and all of the pumpkin debris will be gone. You can see the two that are like way out there, the two that are not social. They're like, we'll wait till she disappears. So I will disappear quick, but there's Taraji. Best day of the year. Okay. That'll keep them busy for a while. Okay, I think I got all the videos in there. I think that's all for this week. Next week, I'll be back and I will share a little bit about the experience of selling some of my mill equipment. I will still be milling like crazy for all of you hand spinners out there, just not so much for knitters anymore. But I will share that experience with you all next week, and probably some more mill videos. I'm working on Fiber Club right now, so I'm very excited for December's Fiber Club. And I think that's it, you all. So I am going to go until next time. Thank you all so much for watching. I do appreciate you spending time with me. I hope you learned something or just got a smile out of it. And stay healthy until I see you next. Be kind to your neighbors and make all of the pretty things as much as you possibly can. All right, thank you so much. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. All right.